speaking of making the game better, Emma Hayes is hoping she can make the United States women's national team better. She has been named as the new head coach. She will join after the Chelsea season is over. She is the Chelsea manager. And guys, I did some digging because we kind of like all asked each other, like, how do you leave your post? Chelsea, it's a big deal. That is a big managing job. And you go to a national team. So I spoke to other managers in the women's game, and they all said that it actually makes sense. They pointed to the fact that she has been with Chelsea for about 11, 12 years now. She's won a lot of titles with them. There is this feeling of been there, done that. There's also the belief that her end game is the England job. And because she has worked in the United States before, her in could possibly be through the U.S. national team. There is also talk of, as we know, the U.S., they've really led the way with equal pay, that she will be paid the same as Greg Berhalter. He's making around $1.6 million. So the pay is more. And then finally, from a family perspective, she's been very open after she's had her son of wanting to spend more time with him, trying to find a better work-life balance that she wasn't achieving in the pro game. And while the national team still will demand quite a bit of time, you can still do a lot of remote working. And she's a big advocate of that and respecting women who have decided to have babies but still want to have a career in the sports world. So all those things just seem to be a perfect storm for her to become the manager of the United States women's national team. But I guess the big question here, Wheels, is there are Canadians now on Chelsea, and they haven't been getting a lot of playing time. Jessie Fleming, Khadijah Buchanan, Ashley Lawrence. So how do you think they'll be affected with Emma Hayes' departure?
Yeah, Fleming, Lawrence, Buchanan in 5 WSL games this season so far have a combined 5 starts. That isn't great. So, I mean, we'll see how that changes over the course of the year. I think it's more of a long-term conversation. This year will play out. They're at a good club. Hopefully they get more chances to start in what is a very good WSL team. So let's hope that they can move this forward. I just find that this move by Hayes, it's very intriguing to me. You said that this might be the pathway into, coaching the England national team. I always thought that if you're going to come back overseas, I think this is her 3rd time coming to the US, then maybe she has her eyes cast to maybe an MLS head coaching future potentially. I don't know. That's what struck me first. This will make her the highest paid women's manager in the world. It's 2 times more than reportedly Doug McIntyre wrote on this than Serena Wigman, who only makes $500,000, which this is just such a departure from the men's game, where the club jobs are the ones that pay the most money, have the most prestige. But the U.S. women's national team, to me, this just highlights the fact that women's club football needs to do more to create those positions that can pay what some of these national teams, maybe not the U.S. I mean, how much they've committed with this new CBA into their players is going to be intriguing to see how they balance and how they can afford all this. But the club level in the women's game, I think that standard needs to increase just in terms of what players and coaches and what that livelihood looks like. I just wanted to read a quote from The Guardian as well, because legacy comes into play here. Hayes is such a great manager, but this was written in The Guardian about the U.S. women's job. In the minds of the U.S. women's soccer media and fans, nothing is ever the player's fault. It is never the faulty development pipeline, which in the U.S. is a serious problem that has been exacerbated by the financial demands of the current national team players, women and men, at the expense of any futures players. It is always the coach. This is a time of great change for the women's national team in the U.S. Some experienced players are going out. What those new players coming in, what that will look like. They only got knocked in the round of 16 at the World Cup. So this is a big job, and I think that legacy is a really intriguing thing to follow here as well.
Yeah. Ollie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think there are some interesting questions regarding the future of the US women's national team that Will's alluded to there in terms of player development and the way that Europe has obviously really accelerated over the past few years and how the US team is going to compare in the long term. However, that being said, I actually think that the phasing out of some of the more veteran players over the past year or so, or the past few months, really since the World Cup, might be a very good thing for this team. And when I look at this current crop of players, I don't think we're in that position yet where the development is maybe costing them. Like, there are some of the best young players in the world on this US team, and I think they're ready for bigger roles. When you look at Germa, Macario, Sophia Smith, like these are top players. So for me, they have massively underachieved over the past couple of years. And I think Emma Hayes has taken them over at quite a nice time to potentially have a lot of success there.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
this is
see what they
quickly.
can
This
do.
is a huge thing for Emma Hayes to take over. But I also think off a legacy, what Will said, you're looking at a team with the US that are expected to win. Like name a nation in world football, men or women, that is placed on it. It's not Brazil and the men's not. They're expected to win. So this is a tall order to ask, but I think she's up for the task. She's the right woman for the job.